Whether it be a major grail or a minor key, I'm sure there's something on this list for you. So go grab your vibe juice, because it's time for another top 10. And let's get into it. And I'm back with another top 10 list and market update for you. So hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and let's dive right on in. At the list at number 10, we've got a title that everybody's pretty familiar with. We're going to talk about X-Men, issue number 1, and this is cover E, the collector's edition. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the first appearance of X-Men Team Blue, Cyclops, Beast, Wolverine, Rogue, Psylocke, and Gambit, all right? So, this book is currently trending upward, my friends, with a 65% increase in copies that have sold. Average price for a raw copy is $6. Average price for a graded copy is $72. Last recorded sale for this book in a raw copy was just $7. Now, after searching Go Collect, I found that it has 4,996 universal grades on the census. 24 9.9s. The 9.9 will be the golden egg in this particular issue. It has 3,297 9.8s with fair market value saying that $80 is a worthy price for a 9.8. We have 910 9.6s. We've got 376 9.4s. 143 9.2s, and we've got 110 9.0s for those of you who like to stay within that near mint range, with fair market value asking $40 for a near mint copy of a 9.0. So we did have a high sale that took place, and that was back in 2019, where CGC 9.2 sold for $264, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so if you are interested in X-Men issue number 1, that cover E, the collector's edition, keep your eye out on this book because it's definitely moving. I've been noticing this book doing a lot of movement, seeing how we're starting to see the X-Men come up on, get ready to come up on big screen. So pay attention to that. At the list at number 9, we have one of my favorite all-time books on the list, and this is Elvira's House of Mystery, issue number 1, and this is the first appearance of Elvira in comics. Always loved Elvira as a kid, watched her, used to stay up late watching her horror show and her comedic take on horror. You know what I mean? Shout out to my boy Dylan's Horror, who does a lot of film research, and he does a lot of reactions to horror films. So peace and shout out to him. This book is currently trending up 65.69% increase in copies that have sold. Last recorded sale for a raw copy was $56. It has an average price of $35 for a raw copy and an average price of $200 for a graded copy. Universal grades are as follows. Go Collect says that there are 185 universal grades. We've got 20 9.8s, 51 9.6s. That fair market value is saying that $230 is a worthy fee to pay for 9.6. We've got 25 9.4s, we've got 17 9.2s, and we've got 27 9.0s. Again, for those of you who like to stay within that near mint range, who wants to stay above that mid grade, all right? Fair market value is saying that $65 is worthy of a near mint 9.0. So that's a book that if you're interested in, keep your eye on it. A lot of books on the market, a lot of grades, but we did have a high sale that took place, and that was for a CGC 9.8 back in 2022, where that book sold for $600. Again, I'm a big Elvira fan. I'm gonna keep my eye out on this book because it's definitely one I'm hoping to add to my collection. And if you like what you see, if you enjoy the channel, please like, subscribe, share the content. We're here every week. I do it for the love, ladies and gentlemen. I do it for the culture. I'm not asking for anything in return. It's just good vibes only. Check your nonsense at the door, because we as a community, we share this space in a humble and peaceful way, and it's all for the love of the hobby. It's the greatest hobby in the world. So I thank each and every one of you guys for inviting me into your home. Thank you for letting me share this with you. Thank you for all your support. This channel would not exist without you. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. So if you are looking for Elvira's House of Mystery, issue number 1, keep your eye out on it because it's moving on the secondary market. Now, at the list at number 8, we have The Amazing Spider-Man, issue number 289. And this is the first appearance of Jason McIndale as the Hobgoblin. All right, this book is currently trending upward, ladies and gentlemen. It has a 70.72% increase in copies that have sold. Average price for a raw copy is $9. Average price for a graded copy is $213. The last recorded sale for this book for a raw copy was for $30. But we did have a high sale that took place back in 2016 where CGC 9.9 sold for $3,585. Amazing Spider-Man fans, this book is on the move. This is a perfect opportunity to get your hands on a new Hobgoblin. So pay attention because it's moving on the secondary market. At the list at number 7, we have The New Mutants Annual, issue number 2. And this is the first appearance of Psylocke Betsy Braddock. All right? Psylocke Betsy Braddock. Beautiful book. Excellent time for you to try to acquire this book and add it to your collection. This book has a current trend of 73.55%. It is going up, ladies and gentlemen, and I see this book steadily climbing. It's steadily climbing. So definitely watch it. And if you're looking to get your hands on it, now may be a perfect time to strike because it's still not too expensive. Average price for a raw copy is $31. Average price for a graded copy is $175. The last recorded sale for this book was $75 for a raw copy that was in near mint condition. Perfect price point for buy-in. We did have a high sale on this book that took place back in 2021. That's where CGC 9.8 sold for $1,100. Again, $1,100 for a CGC 9.8 that sold back in 2021. All right? There has already been a total of 1,587 copies of this book that has changed hands on the secondary market. So I believe that the community knows something, and that's why this book is moving. The community has spoken. There's an interest in this book, and if you're interested in The New Mutants Annual, issue number 2, first appearance of Betsy Braddock as Psylocke, keep your eye out on this book because it's definitely moving on the secondary market. At the list at number 6, ladies and gentlemen, we have an old Bronze Age book that I love. I'm excited about seeing this book on the market. It's one that I'm hoping to get my hands on. You may want to grab it also. And I'm talking about Justice League of America, issue number 107. And this is the first appearance of the Freedom Fighters. Yes, with all the speculation going on what's to take place with the next Justice League film that comes out, this book has a current trend of 148.96% increase in copies that have sold. All right? Average price for a raw copy at the moment is $21. Average price for a graded copy can run you anywhere between $87 to $100. All right? I don't have any information on the last recorded sale for this book, but maybe you can be that next purchase. It's very possible, all right? Or maybe even myself. Maybe I'll be that next recorded sale. So I'm excited about this book. There was a high sale that took place back in 2021 where CGC 9.6 sold for $349. Excuse me, I almost said $3,000. It's $349, right? And there's been a total of 288 sales on this particular book that has passed through one another's hands so far, all right? So if you're in the market for Justice League of America, issue number 107, pay attention to this book because it's moving on the secondary market and it's definitely one for your collection. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have made it to the halfway mark, and I got to shout you guys out. You guys are some of the best. Once again, thank you for inviting me into your home, and I drop a list like this every week. Top 10 hot lists, top 10 trending lists, what's hot, what's not, what's moving, what has slowed down, what's spiking, what's falling between the cracks. Listen, I do it for the love of the community. I do it for the hobby. It's the hobby that I love to do. I just do it. It's good vibes only, ladies and gentlemen. And here's my disclaimer. This is not just a top 10 list that I'm throwing at you so you'll run out and just buy copies frantically and not knowing what they are, what they're capable of doing. This is not a top 10 list that I put out there because there's a major event going on. These are books that, in my opinion, I strongly believe will add value to your personal collection over time. All right? And I use this list. So this is not me throwing a list at you and then slamming books up on eBay hoping that you would purchase them. This is something that I use myself and I just share with the community. And for example, a couple of weeks ago, I had one of these books on my list. It was The Incredible Hulk, issue number 2. It was the 1 in 25 Francis Yu variant. So I was able to go out and grab it myself. I grabbed a beautiful copy. I grabbed a beautiful copy. Look at that. So I'm not just putting things in front of you guys just so you guys go out and grab it. This is a list that I build weekly and that I search from myself personally. And then I go out and look for them. I was able to find this particular book just this past weekend, and I was super excited about it. There's another book that if you stay tuned to the end, I'll show you that I also was able to grab. But remember what I told you about the artwork? Fabulous artwork. The depiction of the Hulk created by the shadows of the trees and the moonlights and the clouds of the evening and the shrubbery. Awesome. One for the collection. Definitely happy to have it. And I'm sure that this will add value to my PC over long term. Has the making of an iconic cover. Yes, in my opinion. All right? So I hope you guys enjoy the show. And we back at it with more static. Here we go. At the list at number 5. This is X-Men, issue number 1. Again, first appearance of X-Men Blue Team. You know all the characters, so there's no need for me to run through them again. This book has a current trend of 177 increase in copies that have sold. 177% increase in the copies that have sold. Average price for a raw copy is just $3. Average price for a graded copy will run you about $73. Now, there was a high sale that took place back in June of 2023, and that's where a CGC 9.8 sold for $208, all right? There has already been 3,526 total copies of this particular book that has moved on the secondary market. So if you're interested in X-Men issue number 1, first appearance of the Blue Team, keep your eye out on this book because it too is moving on the secondary market. It's a good time for X-Men comic books, man. I'm happy to see that too. X-Men getting a lot of love this particular season. At the list at number 4, we want to talk about Fantastic Four, and this is issue number 358. First appearance of Payback, the Power Scroll. You know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, currently trending upward at 196.67% increase in copies that have sold. The average price for a raw copy of this book will run you about $8. Average price for a graded copy will cost you roughly about $64. All right, the last recorded sale for this book was for a raw copy in very fine condition, and someone paid $12 for that book. That is not a bad price point for buy-in, very low median, something I can respect. Definitely worthy of giving it a look. We did have a high sale for this book that took place back in 2022, where CGC 9.8 sold for $350. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you too can own a spectacular book such as this for a low, low cost of just $350, or maybe even less if you contact the seller, possibly work out some type of agreement, and you can get them to come down off that price just a little bit, because that last price was back in 2022, but that's just how it is. That's what I do. Every now and again, I'll reach out to the seller and see if I can strike a bargain, you know, because it's all about buying low, and if you're selling your books, you sell high. But me, I like to buy low, and again, that adds more value to my PC, all right? I try to see if I can acquire the book for under market cost, and that just helps me out a little bit. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but either way, I enjoy the hobby. I enjoy just the excitement of it all, trying to acquire the book, right? And then once I get it, I stare at it forever and ever and ever and ever and ever until I say, oh shoot, I gotta do a video, let me put this away. All right, so if you're in the market for Fantastic Four, issue number 358, keep your eye out on this book because it's doing numbers on the secondary market, ladies and gentlemen. It's definitely up. Speaking of up, we have made it up to the number 3 comic book on the list. Now let's talk about The New Mutants, issue number 87, and this is Rob Liefeld's second print of the first full appearance of Cable. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we have a reprint on the list. All right. The first full appearance of Cable. Exciting character. Love them on Deadpool. Hope to see more of them. I know they're going to do something with them, and so does the community. That's why the numbers are up. This book has a current high trend of 214% increase in copies that are selling on the secondary market. Holy smokes, Batman. The average price for a raw copy at the moment is just $8. Average price for a graded copy will cost you about $88. Now, last recorded sale for this book was for a raw copy, and that book went for $115. There is currently 1,299 total sales of this particular book that has changed hands on the secondary market. We did have a high sale, my friends, that took place back in 2018 for a CGC 9.8, and that book sold for $260. Yes, $260. Excellent price point for buy-in. Definitely worthy of a second look. Check it out. Make your wise decision. Decide what you want to do from there. The New Mutants, issue number 87. Rob Liefeld, second print, first full appearance of Cable. The reprint, the gold cover. Oh, man, I got a funny story about the gold cover. I remember when I first got back into comic book collecting, and I saw New Mutants 87 on eBay. I wanted the book. I was like, oh, let me grab this book. And I saw it for such a low cost. It was very, very low, very inexpensive. But at the time, I did not know that the book was the second print. I thought I was getting the first print. I didn't understand I wasn't able to distinguish between the first print and the second print, the difference in colors, the covers. So I wind up pressing purchase now. Bing! So I bought the book. And then, dumb me, then I went back and researched the book and realized I got the second print. And at that time, I didn't want the second print. I thought I was getting the first print. So I'm screaming, I don't want this book. So I reached out to the seller, told them I made a mistake, and they were very generous. They allowed me, and you don't get this a lot. A lot of people don't let you return books, and I never make it a habit of that. But it was the first time I made that mistake, and I never made that mistake again. But the seller let me return the book. I could hear the frustrations in their conversation as we were chatting back and forth. But holy smokes, man, it was like, I was like, wow, that was intense. Can't do that again. So that's my story about Cable, and that's why I love the book. It holds a special place in my heart. All right, guys. At the list at number 2, Captain America Annual, issue number 8, and this is the first appearance of Overrider and Test 1. Classic Mike Zeck cover art. This book is definitely one for your PC. If you're out there in the wild and you see it, you might want to grab it. It's doing excellent on the secondary market. This book is currently trending upward at 243.84% increase in copies that have sold. Average price for a raw copy will run you just $22. Average price for a graded copy is $140. Last recorded sale for this book was for a raw copy, and that book went for $25. I've been excited about this book ever since I've been watching it, and I've had it on the list. I'm happy to see that it made the list for a second time, and the beautiful thing about it is I was actually able to purchase this book before I was even able to get this video out. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I actually was able to acquire a copy for myself just this past weekend. Beautiful copy. Look at the corners on this baby. Spectacular, nice and clean, sharp as a razor. And I did not pay a lot for this muffler. No, I did not. Actually, I didn't even have to heckle for it. It wasn't even priced. He didn't have it priced very high at all. That's why when I saw it, I was like, oh my goodness, is that what I think it is? Yeah, let me get that. Let me have that. So I was able to get my hands on that for not a lot of money. So I was super happy. And again, I reiterate this. This is not just a list that I'm throwing at you saying that, yeah, you should go buy this, you should go buy that. No, I strategically buy comics that I feel will add long-term value to my PC, and I share that list with you, the comic book community. Because it's the right thing to do. All right? Enough of my foolishness. I know you guys have had enough of me. Thank God we're almost done, right? It's good vibes only, ladies and gentlemen. And just remember, back in 2022, for that particular book, there was a high sale for a CGC 9.8 for $780. There, I said it. So if you're in the market for Captain America Annual, issue number 8, first appearance of Overrider and Test 1, keep your eye out on this book. That classic Mike Zeck cover is definitely on the move. All right, my friends, we have made it to the #1 hottest comic book on the secondary market. Not because the movie is spiking, but because it's classic comic. It's classic comic book. It's what we love. We love classic comics, right? We love books that have brought us that nostalgia from the time we were kids up until where we are right now in our lives. That's why this book is #1. I see some activity going on with this book, so I wanted to make sure that I shared it with you. And I'm talking about none other than Green Lantern, issue number 188, and this is the first appearance of Mogo. Yes. This book has a current trend of 36.81% increase in copies that have sold, ladies and gentlemen. Average price for a raw copy is just $10. Average price for a graded copy, a CGC 9.8, will run you about $230. Now, excuse me, there has been a high sale that took place back in May of 2023 where CGC 9.8 sold for $230. There has been 178 raw copies that have sold. There has been 8 graded copies that have sold, giving us a total of 186 copies of this particular book that has changed hands on the secondary market. The Green Lantern Corp is definitely coming. I wish that they would go ahead and get this thing right. DC, I love you guys. I've always been a big fan of DC world of comics. I would love to see them put together a movie that just draws the community in and just gives us something that we've been waiting for. Oh my goodness, I could just feel it, man. Like DC is bound to just crack that egg sooner or later, right? I mean, you can only do so many Batman, so many Joker films. Give us something fresh, give us something new, give us something exciting. Like, don't worry about what the hecklers are gonna say. If it comes from the love, and that's what I think. You got to make the movie from the love of the hobby, man. If you make us a movie from the love of the hobby, you won't go wrong. But if you're just doing it to earn a buck, you're probably going to miss the mark every time. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a producer. I don't create none of this stuff. But I love to read it, though. So I might know a little bit of something. C3, you don't know nothing. You're right. I probably don't. But one thing I do know is it's good vibes only, ladies and gentlemen. That's your list. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for stopping by, checking out the channel. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Hey, tell a friend about your best kept secret. Let them know. Yeah, you can probably finally let them know how you've been managing to get your hands on all these awesome new comic books. Tell them C3 has a top 10 that you definitely don't want to miss. You know what I always say, don't hate, congratulate. Show some love, because that don't cost you nothing. Appreciate. But no matter what you do, my friends, always, keep it comics. Later, Gators. I'll see you next video. Okay. You know what it is. Let me know what you think about that new hot one. That joint was hot. It did good. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.